You speak like somebody who knows the Vegas
I was born
scene.
in Las Vegas.
Oh my! And so
You know?
when did you decide to move to Hawaii?
I moved here when my dad. I come from a long line of law enforcement,
Right.
and my dad at the time was an FBI agent, but
Right.
he was very involved in law enforcement in Las Vegas. But he also noticed that even though I was an athlete at the time, I was a cannabis user.
Right.
And so he made fun of me. He at a party, and he said, "Mike, you should go to Hawaii." He says, "Everybody's like you over there. They just want to stand around on the beach with no shirt and smoke that marijuana." And this light bulb went off. Be careful what you say to your kids, because hey, 3 days later, I was standing on the beach.
Hawaiian.
Yeah.
I made the determination.
3 days later, I was standing on the beach in Kona, wondering what the heck to do.
At this stage, they're prosecuting your dad. Jen, how'd you feel about the trial, and what kind of toll did it take on the family and the dynamics and all of that?
It was total hell. It was very terrifying, stressful.
No, really. I mean, don't pull any punches. What's up with that?
Yeah, it was horrific, though, and they were so unfair. The prosecutor and the judge and the whole system and the way that you would have to navigate it with requesting evidence and motions. They were so unfair to us. I mean,
who prosecuted the case anyway?
Well, it was under the order and direction of Prosecutor Mitch Roth and Prosecutor Rick Damerville, who came out of retirement just to prosecute Dad.
They're prosecuting your dad and your family, and it's creating some impact effect. How's the family taking it, and what's it look like to you?
So when he had first gotten arrested, they jacked up the bail to something that we couldn't afford because they charged him with these 32 frivolous felonies that they dismissed 4 years later, a day before the trial started.
Oh, wait. So a day before the trial starts, they dismiss 31 charges of
31
felonies.
31 felonies. Yes.
Right, and the 31 felonies look like they were just trumped up to hold you with no bail.
Yeah.
Well, I was facing 3 lives plus 32 years. Wow. And that was for what? Helping people with medical registrations.
So patients would come with their excess medical cannabis.
Like the social club.
Right, and they would donate it on consignment to for whatever just compensation that they could provide. So people would bring in a variety of strains and medicines. The collective took 20% off of whatever transaction for warehousing it.
Right.
And it was bonded as a warehouse.
So operational overhead.
Yes, they followed those protocols. They also got permission from the DEA agent, this DEA special agent in charge. And they followed guidelines for procedures of disposal of controlled substances, which specifies you can transfer one controlled substance to an authorized user of that same controlled substance. And medical marijuana is a controlled substance. So they followed all of those guidelines. They also had a HIPAA certified nurse in taking the membership, and all of the profit from the 20% from warehousing the medicine was donated back into the collective for providing services like a MyDX testing machine, which tested the cannabis for molds and pesticides and to make sure that it was quality medicine. They also provided a vacuum purge oven so that members could purify the medicine and make different concentrates for whatever ailments that they had. And they really tried their best to follow everything to the T. People had to come in. There was a really thorough intake process. They had to follow the Cole Memorandum and all these federal guidelines addressing federal concerns and state concerns. And so they really tried their best. And one day an undercover police officer came in. At first, he'd just come. When he had called, he said that he had a medical card. He came up the driveway. Dad came out to greet him. And he didn't have a card. They were trying to set Dad up, and Dad sent him away. He was like, "I'm sorry, I can't give you medicine, but because he told Dad that he had back pain. If you have back pain, we recommend you can go see these doctors, tell them that you have back pain, and come back when you have your recommendation." And so he came back a month later.
2 months.
Yeah, it's 2 months later, and had medicine transferred to him. And it was funny because during the videos, he kept wanting to get more and more different products. And my dad kept saying, no, I think you're good. You're new to this. You don't want to give you too much. And so it was clear that Dad wasn't trying to just sell him a bunch of drugs,
Right.
Just like this. They were trying to paint him out as this drug dealer.
Right.
They had jacked the bail so much, it took us 6 days to get him out.
They didn't just do it to me, guys, because the Attorney General don't like me. And let me tell you why the Attorney General don't like me. I had sued the dispensaries because I had pointed out that it's a RICO violation. Federal law, you either enforce it on everybody or nobody. So when they say dispensaries can do it, but me and you can't,
Yeah.
that's called racketeering. And so I sued him for that, and it really angered him. And that's why the Attorney General had Mitch Roth come after me and bust me. And that's why they came after me way back then. And so...
Isn't Mitch Roth involved in this whole TMT thing with his
Oh, he is.
family
Oh,
and his
he's-
wife and conflict of interest?
I like how he
and-
talks about conflict of interest, because it's interesting. You'll notice in administrative forfeiture, who gets 25%? The prosecutor's office. And so they take your money. How is that not conflict of interest? When they get the money personally, when are they ever going to decide not to take your money when they get it? I mean, there's no other. Can you find a more conflict of interest than that? And here's the thing, administrative forfeiture just on the Big Island, $5 million a year. In fact, administrative forfeiture is so big on the Big Island, it's written into the budget. They write, if they don't take $5 million from the people during administrative, they don't make budget.
Mike, thanks for shining a light
Well,
on
what
the process.
stunned me the
of
most
what
about this
happens.
whole process was I'm old and I've lived here for over 40 years. So I've had the pleasure of having their accommodations down at HCCC before. And so now, here it is 20 years later, and I'm back in HCCC. Over 100 people. I had no bedding at all. I had to take my shirt off and make a pillow out of it. And there's not even a bathroom in there. There's no bathroom or water.
Yeah.
Over 100 people in what used to be the rec room. And so I looked into it, and I'm like,
Hold on, let's just mention though,
Oh.
when we got him out, he had renal kidney failure, pneumonia, and his front teeth had abscessed, and he lost them. Just over the 6 days of being in there. He was peeing blood. We had to take him to the hospital immediately.
What do we do now? How do we engage these people? Do we just
Well-
turn a blind eye?
well, there you go. I always said that I was going to do something about it. If I ever got out from under my 33 felonies, meeting all the nice kids down there in the jail, that I was going to do something about fixing that jail. And so I tried. I was doing lawsuits. I've been filing lawsuits. But recently we just had this, we found out, sadly, that Mitch Roth, the head prosecutor of the county, the guy who's behind all this atrocities, the guy who I believe owes an apology to everybody in the county and the state for our prison conditions, is now running for mayor. And so I had to, I felt compelled to stand up to him, and I am now going to run for mayor myself. And so we're coming after him, and we're coming after this mentality that it's okay to stick and you got to remember, these are judged people.
You're not guilty.
Yeah, they haven't been found guilty yet. 5 people to a cell. There's no more recreation. You can't work out. In fact, it's illegal to exercise in there. And even the head Supreme Court Justice of our state, Rickenwald, I believe his name is, just recently pointed out that our judicial system is being used to torture mentally ill. 80% of the people in our judicial system in jail are mentally ill. Drug use, meth addiction, any kind of addiction, that's a mental health issue. Children don't, in the 3rd grade, say, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm going to be a meth head.
Yeah.
Nobody says that. This is a mental health issue. Drug addiction, homelessness, these are mental health issues.
And these are huge issues that
They're
we
huge
deal
issues.
with here.
That
And these people need help.
disproportionately- And they disproportionately
Yeah.
affect Native Hawaiians.
Yeah, and the stats prove this. Throwing mentally ill people into horrible, cramped prison conditions only makes it worse.
Yes.
Now you wonder why you have all these rapes and murders. Look what you're doing to the mentally ill. No, we need to fix these people, and we can. And here's the thing. Fixing them would only cost 10% of what it costs to punish them. You know, it's $90,000 a year now, people, to lock people up. We need to stop it. It's time to fix it. I got some good ideas on how. I can give you one, which is the farm. I want to start a prison farm so that you can let them out to go work on the farm, earn their keep, get some exercise. And so there's no reason to ever treat people like that, 5 people to a cell, inhumane conditions. Why are we doing this? These are our people. These are our citizens. They're your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your neighbors.